Hey guys, it's Chris with Drop Dice. So we are back this week. This week I am showing the splash screen for an upcoming game called Endeavour. I'll be doing a new sci-fi based game, as you can tell, called Endeavour on the channel. It'll be using the system Stars Without Numbers. So let's go ahead and transition so you can see some player screens. All right, so this is going to be one of the player screens. I'm going to have one of these made up for each one of the characters. However, the main thing that's going to be different is that on this side over here, you're actually going to see the goals of the players. Now, the game Stars Without Numbers is pretty special in the fact that you don't get experience from killing things. Instead, you get experience from accomplishing goals, something that I really love that not a lot of RPGs do nowadays. So it's very cool to see that in a game and encouraged. So definitely got to be a big part of the adventure on board the Endeavour. Now, the Endeavour, you can also see the image in the lower portion there. However, I am going to go ahead and take a bigger scale here. This is going to be the Endeavour, and I want to show you this because there's a really cool shout out that I have to do to my boy Nelson at Infinite Roleplay. He is, first off, a phenomenal guy who does some amazing things in Photoshop, especially when it comes to maps and things like that. Nelson has been working hard, and he's actually got a store on Drive-Thru RPG, and one of the products that he is selling is a map called map to the ship called the Endeavour, which you guys just saw the image. Let me go ahead and show you the Roll20 real quick here because I've got the map loaded up, and it is just great how this thing looks. So here is the Roll20, which you can see the Endeavour, my image. I am kind of in the way. Let me turn myself off for a second here. So there is the Endeavour, and if you look inside the bottom corner right here, that is the icon I just showed you before, but that is a phenomenal map. It is so close to the image that I found right here that I was just like, okay, that sells it. This is going to be my ship for my players, which I will be writing up in the meantime. But for now, what I wanted to do was kind of talk to you guys about, you know, what this game is about, what Stars Without Numbers is. First off, I was introduced by Stars Without Numbers the way that a lot of people on the internet so far have been introduced to it, which is through the channel It Me JP. On that channel, there's a game called Swan Song that uses the system Stars Without Numbers, and it's been a really great, fun game, and I'm going to take on that game because me and Nelson actually have been in contact with each other talking about how we want to play sci-fi games, haven't seen too much of them lately, and so we decided that you know, it's probably about time that we start seeing some more of those. So I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to throw this out there. It's going to be a sandbox style campaign, which I normally struggle with, but I think that maybe doing sci-fi is really going to be that part that really brings it out for me. And if nothing else, it'll definitely give me a chance to really work out something that I usually have a more difficult time with. Now, the one thing that I did want to show you about Nelson's maps, because I think they're great, is this is the grid that was on there. Those kind of gray lines that are right there. Those light gray lines that you can see over here are the Roll20 map. It actually lined up really fast. I used the Align Grid tool, and it just came right up. So that was pretty awesome that it was very easy to work with. The only one that I had an issue with so far is the Rhodes Depot map, which is a space station that he put together, and the space station itself is great, of course. But the grid was not lining up, so I just took out the grid that was previously there, and I just used the Roll20 grid. Very simple, very easy to use. Here's another portion of the Rhodes Depot space station, which will actually be featured in the game. You guys will see some of Nelson's work inside that game. Because regardless of if I have him at the table or not, I'm definitely going to try and feature some of those maps because he's put a lot of work into them, and I think you guys should definitely check out his store. It's under Infinite Roleplay at Drive-Thru RPG, so definitely check it out when you get a chance. A lot of his products are pay what you want, so if you want to try it out first and then pitch him some money, or at least some good reviews, that would really help out his store. I know that much. I know after I use the map in game, I will actually be pitching out my reviews per each map use, of course. So that'll definitely get some traffic, hopefully, to his channel because Nelson's done some great stuff on there. Well, the next one I want to show you is the universe here. So at some point, I won't say 100% when exactly because I'm filming this right now and I may film this back to back. It just depends on when I show it on the channel. You will be able to see me building the universe, and I should say the sector of space that we are going to be playing in. And this is going to be our sector map right here. Now, I wanted to show you a couple tools that are out there, and let me close this window real quick. So I've got this Reddit here, which is a Reddit RPG one, and it talks about stars without number, some different tools and things like that. This is a super cool link. I'm going to actually put it inside the video description for this one. And what I wanted to show you is one of the really cool ones here is the sector generator. This is in case you want to be lazy and get your game started right away. It does pretty much all the work for you. So when it comes up, it's got a seed already in there. You can re-roll that seed if you want, or if you just want to type in some gobbledygook and hope for the best, that is an option as well. Let's generate one of these sectors real quick. So this one right here is a sector map. These are the different stars, and let's say that you don't like the placement of this star. You can move it down here, move it over here, move it anywhere really, or you could just keep it the way it was. Now, the only problem that I've had with this one, and I think I'll be able to resolve it by building the map by hand like I intend to, which is, if you look here, the stars are stuff like, let's see here, there's Muhammad, Pusti, Isignis, or something like that. Some of these are kind of hard to say, or I just don't know what they are because I'm just can't read apparently. Puerta, Sorn, Bina, Sarita. Each one of these stars here, it doesn't really tell you what worlds go with it. Now, it does have this section where there's different worlds, and if you decide to download the sector, you actually get like a wiki page with all this stuff pre-assembled. It's super cool. The only problem that I have with it is it doesn't really go into detail about, okay, well, you know, Araco is inside the Mohammed star system here. So, you know, if you're over here at the Metazax star, you could drill over to Muhammad, which is traveling 1 hex is the terminology drill. Well, your drill could be like a rated 2 or 3, which would mean that you could go 2 or 3 hexes depending on what your drill's rating is, but you drill through space to go to the next hex ultimately. So let's say you have a drill of 1, you go from Metatax to Muhammad, and the world that you're going into is Araco, which is an inert, cold, hybrid planet for a biosphere. It's got 1 billion people on it, and the tech level is 4. They have civil war, and you know, here's the tags here, which the book goes into more detail about what those are. But it's definitely really cool because it's got that all put together, but I think some of the links are just not connected all the way. And I know for me, I'm a learn the hard way kind of guy. I've got to do it myself. I got to build the thing. I got to feel it out. I got to mold it like it's a lump of clay. And so for me, this isn't going to work, but I wanted to show it to you guys in case you wanted to see this. Now, this one I think is really cool, the NPC page. It doesn't tell you where these NPCs live or much about them other than their name, gender, age, and height. And even their age and height are kind of vague. Like it says old and tall. Now, it doesn't exactly say how old, but you can play with that and actually get a good idea. Now, I think this is a very cool way to kind of get some NPCs going, at least, if nothing else from here. There's also a corporate generation, which is pretty cool, or corporations generation tool here. There's politics, and this is kind of what I was talking about. So there's, you know, the national group here and a couple things right here, but none of these seem to be necessarily tied to any particular planet, which I feel like is a missing link between the politics and the world. And, you know, that may be on purpose, or it may just be because it's a generator. I think, like I said, when I build it myself, I can make those connections and it'll make more sense to me. The religions here, definitely super cool to have a bunch of religions inside here. That one actually is a new one. I haven't seen this before, but I thought that was kind of funny. The quietest Taoists. That's pretty hilarious. Or excuse me, quietest Taoists, rather. And then let's see here. From there, it goes into the aliens section, where it talks about the different aliens that are out there. Now, not every game of Stars Without Numbers includes aliens. However, it does include that inside the generator. Definitely very cool. The other things it includes is character sheets for regular use, Google Drive, the partially automated faction sheet here for Google, which I believe the faction sheet is used for the ItMeJP channel, for their Swan Song game by their GM Adam Coble, which is definitely a good game. You should check that out if you want more swans, or if you want more stars without numbers in general. Blank sector maps, sci-fi DMing tips. There's a whole bunch of stuff inside here, and it just goes on and on with a whole lot of different things that you can do, including some rule changes and stuff like that. I am going to play from the book, at least at the beginning, and we'll see how things go. But like I said, it's going to be a sandbox, which will be a fun experience for me. So that's pretty much what I've got going on here. Now, the cool thing about this one is I've got the character sheets are actually going to be integrated inside here. This one would be like a character sheet. However, it also includes the starship sheet, which is definitely a nice addition here. I'm not sure who put together the Stars Without Numbers sheet, but they did a great job with it. And you can turn around and let's say, oh, we need to roll a computer check. You can do that and say, okay, computer is going to use intelligence, and 2 people are helping me out, so I'm going to get a +2. I could submit that, and then it rolls the dice for me, and I got a 4 because that's a critical failure right there, and the 4 would not be enough. I would fail that check. And then we'll go into more detail about how these skills are rolled, but skills are basically 2d6, and then as the game progresses, I'll kind of explain mechanics as we go, just like I do for most other games that we play, except for 5th edition, because I think that's probably the most popular game. It doesn't need a whole lot of explaining, so that's the good news on that one. Let me go ahead and transition back to the big screen here. Now, what I wanted to say is for anybody who's interested in playing, it will be done through the Tabletop One-Shot group, just as I've been doing other games in the past here. And if you do decide that you want to play, hit it up on there and let me know. What I think I'm going to do is start it with the new year. However, I want to try and get people together to kind of brainstorm ideas and bring their characters together and talk about who they were before coming together on the Endeavour and why they are together. Now, I think I'm going to take a page out of Adam Coble's book and make the main reason that they're together is they bought this ship and now they have to pay it off. And that's the reason that they're out there adventuring in the world, because it's a very simple and easy way for the party to have to work together. And I think it's a good way to get them to kind of come together inside the storyline. So that's pretty much what I've got for right now. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. For everybody who's going to pay attention to this one, follow along with any of the adventures on any of the games that are going on the channel. I'd like to thank you about that. And, we are 100% about fan participation and audience commentary on the channel here. So if you have any comments, feel free to share them with us. As always, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time at the gaming table.